I have got the gorgeous Pravinita Singh Pillay from Cornerstone Law Offices, who is the principal lawyer. After COVID, we have not spoken the situation that happened at that time.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me, Reena, so many divorce cases have come.
And it's on the rise still because the pressures of life and the economy, all of those are still there. And I think it's still a flow-on effect from that, where people are still bouncing back, doing their best to bounce back. And yeah, it's still on the rise in terms of families separating.
It's not only males.
Correct.
Females are also.
Men will hardly speak about that, right? An Australian person, if you ask an Australian male, how are you doing, mate? The answer will be, I'm great.
This field that you have chosen in your life is not easy. You come across negativity all the time.
Yes.
So how do you keep yourself sane?
Very good question, Reena, and I get asked that a lot. And yes, I've worked in this industry for 28 years now. And to me, I wouldn't be where I am and wouldn't do my job successfully.
Hi everyone, I'm Reena Augustine from Community Impact. Welcome to the show. I have got the gorgeous Pravinita Singh Pillay from Cornerstone Law Offices, who is the principal lawyer. Pravinita Singh Pillay, we are meeting after 2019 here at the studio.
Yes, it's been that long, Reena. It's a joy to be back here, and it's always a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you, thank you. We have spoken so much and we know each other for a very long time. We've seen the journey of life here in Australia. You do family law.
Yes. I've seen it all and heard it all, haven't I? Yes.
Yes. And after COVID, we have not spoken the situation that happened at that time.
Yes.
And I remember you telling me, Reena, so many divorce cases have come to plate.
Yes. And it's on the rise still because the pressures of life and the economy, all of those are still there. So during COVID, it was a different scenario as to why relationships were ending. Before COVID was another story too. Yeah. So during COVID, obviously, we were not meant to be together 24/7, right? That's right. And because of the lockdown, mummy, daddy, children, everybody was at home. Parents had to turn and become school teachers, right? They had to help educate their children at home. So the outlet of going to work, going to school, going to daycare, all of those were taken away. So we're in this melting pot 24/7 in our homes. That's when the domestic abuse increased and the pressures of life were getting to people. And I think it's still a flow-on effect from that, where people are still bouncing back, doing their best to bounce back. And yeah, it's still on the rise in terms of families separating.
So, Prav, talking about domestic violence.
Yes.
I remember you telling me, Reena, it's not one-sided. It's not only males.
Correct.
Females are also
perpetrators.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And that is, yes, statistics will show that females are the victims or the survivors. I like to call them survivors. And that men are mostly the perpetrators. But yes, you can't forget that the men are also victims or survivors. Yeah. The difference is that men will hardly speak about that, right? Especially in our culture here in Australia, right? An Australian person, if you ask an Australian male, how are you doing, mate? The answer will be, I'm great.
Yes.
Whereas inside he could be suffering from abuse, from even violent females, right? But it's that macho personality of I'm fine.
Australian men.
Correct. Australian men are macho men. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Prav, can you give us one example?
So mostly emotional abuse, financial abuse, okay? That also goes both sides in terms of in terms of a man being a perpetrator of the abuse. Examples of domestic abuse would be account for every cent that you are spending. So bring home the receipt if you're buying the groceries. So telling your spouse when you're buying the groceries to bring the receipt and account for it. Where you're going, okay? What's the app called? 360 something, tracking you, Okay, all of those are examples of what we call coercive control.
Yes.
Okay, and the same would go for in the reverse role. So those are the silent aspects of the abuse
Yes.
and control. Isolating you from your family. Okay, in terms of not allowing you to have friends, going out with friends, changing your mind and saying, well, yes, you can go out with your friends, and then the last minute saying, for example, oh, but we need to go for a family picnic instead.
Oh my God.
So you think, oh, he loves me or she loves me and we're doing family things together, but the underlying motive is something else. So we do see a lot of that happening. Yes, I had a situation where this was another example. My client had 3 children under the age of 5. So the nature of the control there was to keep having babies, so she's busy. And then slowly he started isolating her from her family, her own family, and then from her friends. And the example I just used is exactly what he was doing. He'd say, yes, you can go out with your friends. And then on the morning of that day, he would say, oh, but I've organized a picnic for us. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So what will they gain from that?
It's all about control and power. It's it's controlling somebody and them being your slave, pretty much.
Yeah,
yes.
that's
that being under your control. So then they lose their own identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Prav, this field that you have chosen in your life is not easy. You come across negativity all the time.
Yes.
So how do you keep yourself sane?
Very good question, Reena, and I get asked that a lot. And yes, I've worked in this industry for 28 years now. And to me, I wouldn't be where I am and wouldn't do my job successfully, one, if I didn't have my faith. Okay, so I stay grounded in my faith. I do talk to God a lot, okay? And then I have learned to build that wall in terms of I can't get emotionally involved with my client's case.
Yes.
It's important because I'm not then doing my job, okay?
That's right.
I have to be objective. Does that mean that I'm not empathetic? Yes, I am. But I can't fall into that trap and become sympathetic, right? I need to be objective, stand back and look. I can't change their past, so I've learned to be very black and white in that sense to say, okay, I can't change your past, but let's focus on the future and keeping them future focused and giving them a pathway. Not false hope.
Yeah.
You know me quite well. I'm pretty straightforward. Yes.
Oh my God.
Very direct. So in that sense, clients will either like me and connect with me or they won't. Yeah. Most people will appreciate that directness.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of getting a pathway, how things will play out. Our system is broken. It's shattered.
Yeah.
Okay. Lawyers get blamed. Judges get blamed. Courts get blamed. None of us are in control of that. We're there to do our job and apply the law. We don't make the law, okay?
Yes,
so all we can do is help people.
So Pravinita Singh Pillay from Cornerstone Law Offices right here with me. Prav, you are here in Australia. How long have you been here?
Right, I came here in 1992. So you do the maths. I'm not good at maths, so 33 something years, I guess.
That's right, that's right.
Yes.
Why Brisbane?
Right, very good question. So I was studying in New Zealand, doing my post grade 12. On a scholarship there. So I applied to do law. I've always wanted to be a lawyer because my dad was in the industry and that was my inspiration. So New Zealand, in Wellington, New Zealand, the university had their own local students' demand to do law, so they were not offering it to international students.
Okay.
So then my dad said, you apply to Australia and see if you can get into a university in Australia and forget about scholarships, I'll pay for it, right? So that's how I landed in Brisbane, basically at Griffith University to do Bachelor of Law and Commerce.
And you came here on a student visa?
Correct, yes, I am an international student and I say that I am your international student success story.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Do you know this is the first time I'm actually knowing that you came here as an international student?
Yes, yes.
Far out.
Yes.
All right. So your journey as an international student and to become a successful lawyer here.
And, Australia is a land of opportunities, right? So my journey is basically my birth country is Fiji. So that's birth country. Then I've worked obviously studied here, but then I've worked also in America.
Yeah.
So that became what I call my growth phase.
Yeah.
And then Australia is my homeland now. So that's been my journey.
Wow.
Yes. And Australia is definitely homeland. Yes.
You went to US, and could you practice law there?
So you had to do the bar course. So I was working in a law firm in the capacity as in an employment law sector. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And how long were you there for?
5 years. And then I got homesick and wanted to come back to Australia.
Right, and
Yes.
that's how the baby was born.
That's how the baby was born. Well, I came back, and in terms of things had changed here. So I'd left the country, but so again, after I graduated, I worked in Australia, and for a period of 5 years before we went to US.
Okay.
But when I came back, the system had changed in the sense that you didn't apply to law firms for a job; you had to apply through recruiters, which is what we do now, right? Although you can apply directly. So then I worked for a firm on the Gold Coast for 5 years, and in the family law sector. Basically, I reached the ceiling. I asked for partnership. I asked to buy him out, etc., because he was unwell and had brain cancer. But that didn't come to fruition. So I thought, okay, I have got to do something about my future.
Yeah.
And so Bob and I, my husband and I, opened Cornerstone Law Offices.
Wow, 2014.
2014, yes, this is 12 years now, coming up to 12 years.
I was right there.
Yes, your maths is good,
Oh
Reena.
my God! Oh, so the journey of Cornerstone Law Offices, you've got 5 branches now, and you've got so many lawyers working for you. How hard was it for you, being a Capricorn, to delegate the stuff to others and trusting them?
Yes, took 5 years. Okay. So, and Bob will tell you that, because that's the difficulty, is you just want to be in control, and you know you're going to get it done right, but you need to develop that growth mindset.
Yes.
Because without that mindset, you can't grow if you're doing everything. And now I'm like loving the delegation part. So it's all the other peripheral stuff. Even today, for example, I was in the middle of a document, and the letter was the editing was not my friend today. So I'm used to sending documents to my staff, certain staff, and our subject line will say, please help. So they will fix things for me, because again, I've had to learn that I don't need to know how to do everything. I just need to have the right people around me, and we work then as a team.
Yeah. Having the right people around you is so important.
Yes, it is. And that's the difficulty, Reena. That's the reality of the test, the challenges we face as small businesses, that getting quality, reliable team members is very difficult. When you do get them, and you treat them well, you train them, they get poached. Okay, so we've had those sad stories, and some will be loyal and stay and grow within the team, because we're passionate about investing in the young lawyers, young staff. We don't have so much of a hierarchy in our firm, because we want everybody to be treated equally. We do say we are a firm of United Nations, because we got people from all different countries working, from Australia to a lot of different countries, and we learn from each other. So it's important for us, and I always say to team members, don't get comfortable in your chairs, because everyone's got to grow.
That's right. That's right. You let them go and grow.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct,
And I'm one of the examples.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Being with you, I learned and grown so much.
Yes.
And so blessed to have found people who genuinely believe in you.
Yeah. Thank you, Reena.
It's
Thank
not
you for
easy.
saying that.
It's not easy. So, where do you think you get that from?
Again, somebody gave us an opportunity. Right? Somebody gave us an opportunity. Parents have raised us well, in that sense of be focused, be committed, focus on your job, not the white noise around you. Doesn't matter what anyone says or thinks of you, it doesn't matter. You just stay focused on, let your work speak for itself.
Yes.
That's the lesson that I've learned. So basically somebody did give us a chance, right? When I walked past that building in Brisbane City, which is where the Director of Public Prosecution's business building is, on the corner of Ann Street and George Street, I still get goosebumps. That was my humble beginnings, my first job. right? Unfortunately, the Supreme Court where we got admitted as a lawyer doesn't even exist now. There's a W Hotel there now. Okay, so, but those are the humble beginnings that you don't forget.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you grow from that. Another example is, and you stay grounded.
Yeah.
Another example of me staying grounded and not develop a big head then is the first file. We only opened Cornerstone Law Offices with one client, because I knew this client would come with me from my previous employment. And so I still have her file in boxes, you know, those archiving boxes. It's still in my home office. And I work most of the time now from my home office. So that's a reminder that this is where I started. And look where we are now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. So, Prav, as you mentioned to me that domestic violence is increasing, right? And you have seen it, especially after COVID. So if somebody is going through something in their life,
Yes.
how can they approach you and how does it work? If you can explain.
Yes, and sometimes that is the tricky thing for that person, because if they're being watched, cameras in the house, phones being linked to the same account, so that can be checked, who are they texting, who are they messaging, all of that kind of stuff. So there are ways to safely make those calls, right? So in terms of us, you can simply call our office. You'll get an appointment directly with me, not on the same day, obviously, but if you're going through serious domestic abuse and need immediate help, you can call DV Connect. Okay. Certainly call 000.
Yeah.
Okay, the laws have changed recently, where the police now can issue a domestic violence order, that's the lay term, but a protection order for a 12-month period without having to go to court. So then, if someone wants to set aside that order and challenge it, then the court process starts. Okay? So that's a good progress.
Yeah.
Like any law, there's always pros and cons, right? So we do have people in the community who will abuse that process, and then we call it systems abuse, because that in itself is a form of domestic violence. So again, it's always, you're always chasing your tail in that sense. What we're also seeing now is what's happening is the neighbor may have called, or somebody's called because they've heard something happening in next door, for example, or somebody that's going through it has called the police. Then we're getting inquiries where they say, an order has been made, but we're not separated, and I don't want the order anymore. Okay? Because again, and I can speak bluntly about our own culture, the Indian culture, where they say, well, the family is getting together and now, they're going to mediate and counsel and all that sort of stuff, and yes, we're back together again and all of that sort of stuff.
Yes.
That's fine, so long as the proper help is provided.
Yeah.
So that because it's a pattern of behavior that will continue.
Yeah.
If it's not addressed in the right way.
Right.
Another example is drugs. When people say, I was a drug user, and I was talking to somebody today, and I said, I'll ask you some direct questions because she's asking me to mediate. And I said, the risk the father says you are to the children, and that's why he's holding on to the children, is that you are on drugs. Are you on drugs? Okay? And then you'll get the evasive answers. I was on drugs is the answer. Okay, when was the last time you used drugs? 2 months ago. Okay, that was her answer. What was the drug of choice? What did you take? Cocaine was the answer. Okay. Well, she wasn't giving me straight answers, but I was getting to those answers. I'll ask as many questions as I need to. Because at the end of the day, the law is about protecting the children.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said, what help are you getting? What steps are you taking to get help to not fall back into that drug use?
Yeah.
Oh, I've just stopped. We all know no addict can just stop and not be at risk of falling back into that pattern of behavior. Yes.
Right.
So it's interesting. So support services are available.
Yes. Can you, okay, so you mentioned for the DV also, there's support services, like if they want to get back together, what help they are taking, what support are they having, what are the supports?
So counseling services, Like I said, DV Connect will have resources. You can contact lawyers, you can contact legal aid, all of those. There are community legal services that provide the connections and services. Because again, at the end of the day, the court wants to see what are you doing? Go to rehab. You know,
Yeah.
this person I was talking to is unemployed. And I said, well, you've got all the time to sort yourself out.
Yeah.
Go into rehab, take all those opportunities, okay? Get yourself admitted into hospital if you have mental health concerns. All of those kinds
Yeah.
of things are available. We live in a country where the resources are there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. How lucky are we?
Very, very blessed. Very blessed. So it's just connecting them to it. In our community, Reena, the loneliness is another thing where someone has married someone from perhaps India or any other country and have brought them into Australia and they've got no other family members here. That's where that whole domestic loneliness, control, isolation begins, because they have no idea what's available there.
Yeah.
So, and again, there are obviously we have lots of community organizations. You know, you're well connected in different communities.
Yeah.
Reach out to your community elders. Okay. Now, obviously, they need to be mindful and respectful and not just fall back into their own cultural ways.
That's right. That's right. You're in a different country.
Correct.
You chose this country.
Correct, for a good reason.
Yes.
For peace, love, you know, all of that sort of stuff to grow.
Yeah. And just don't go back to where
Correct.
you're coming from.
And respect the laws here.
Yeah. So talking about loneliness, Prav, loneliness when a partner, especially arranged marriages, you bring your partner from India. Again, I'm going to give the example of India.
Yes.
And the partner is here. Mingling, starting a new life over here. As a student, it was not easy.
Yes.
Imagine as an adult.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
That's where the problem starts. They lose themselves.
Yes.
They have to start again. The confidence that you have in your own country, like when I come to Australia, I'm so confident.
Yes.
But when I go to other countries, I'm like skeptical. Okay, what do I do? You know? Imagine you leave everything and you're coming here
Yes.
and starting again, and you know, people
Yes.
go through that. Now,
Language is the starting point.
very important.
Learn the language.
Very important.
Yes.
For me, being here on this side and thinking that, Arey yaar, come on, get up and leave. You know, it's not that easy.
No. It can be.
Okay.
Right? It can be.
Okay.
And again, remember, for every decision we make, there are two choices.
Yeah.
So as a couple, you can choose to grow together and not be treated unequally. Okay? So as a husband and wife team, you can grow together and be a success in this country.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to be controlling each other or trying to control each other and bringing people down. So it's, you know, it's empowering people with information, knowledge, skills. So again, we've got lots of wonderful families around who have succeeded.
That's right.
Because they worked as a team and embraced the culture here in Australia, the resources that are available. It is a land of opportunities. And, you know, assimilating and becoming an Australian in the real sense.
That's true. That's true. Now, talking about counseling.
Yes.
Couples therapy, I've heard many people going to couples therapy.
Yes.
In my mind, when I think of couples therapy, I think that you guys started off with love. What happened later? So do you advise people to go for couples therapy?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
So whenever I'm talking to any potential, and a lot of people will call us for advice before they've actually separated.
Okay.
So they're thinking about it, they're considering. And I will always say, you don't engage a lawyer. Yes, you're doing the right thing, getting advice, but make sure you've done everything that you in your heart know that you've committed to the relationship in terms of counseling and getting the help for both of you. And again, Reena, it takes two to tango, right?
Yes.
So if one party is not interested in that and they've made up their mind for whatever reason, they've got another partner or they've just, you know, fallen out of love, okay? All of that kind of stuff, which we see a lot happening in what we call empty nesters.
Yeah.
Last 20 years, they've spent raising children. Now the children have left home, although now nobody leaves home, right? All the children are coming back home and they don't leave until they're 40.
40.
Yeah. So children have moved on. Mom and dad now looking at each other going, what have we got to do in common? Or, for example, the wife has been the homemaker, the husband's still going to work, she's lonely.
That's right.
She's now all of a sudden going, what's my identity? I'm not a mom anymore. I'm still a mom, but you know, I'm not
like a full-time
24/7.
home. Yeah.
Correct. I'm not having to do that 24/7. So in that sense, yes, couples counseling is important. But if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be, because you both have to be committed to that.
Yeah.
It's finding, and remember, it's not half of that person and half of this person that makes one. It's the whole and the whole making a different whole together, isn't it?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So now when you say this, something's coming to my mind. I have seen so many couples separating after their kids turn 18, after they've hit 50, after they've hit 60. Recently, a 73-year-old and a 67-year-old separated. So they are realizing, oh my God, we've got nothing common.
Yes. So my last record was 44-year marriage breaking up. Now I've got a 47-year marriage breaking up. So they're in their 70s. Yes, you're right. And you think, wow, at that age, why are they separating?
Yes.
But again, why? You still have life at 70, right? You still have life to live. If you're unhappy, why would you then be in that depressive relationship? If you think you can find happiness another way and live the next 30 years on your terms, then sure.
Yes.
You know, that's important. Yes. If COVID has taught us anything, life's too short.
That's true. That's true.
So
COVID has taught that.
Yes, you should live. Yeah. And it's not anymore that the thought of, only old people are dying.
Wow.
You know, young people are dying.
40s.
Correct. 20s, 30s, you know, at the moment there's so many young people dying of cancer, etc.
Yeah.
So it's important to me, and you know, I'm big on this, is live every day as your last day, then you won't have any regrets.
That's
you know, share joy and love and all of that sort of stuff. And yes, we're all going to go through life's challenges. That's life. That's just meant to be.
I tell all my friends, one life, let's do it.
Correct.
One life, let's do it. It's now or never.
Correct. You know how they say you live only once? No, you live every day.
That's
right. You die only once.
It's true. So if someone is going through their personal issues in life, in their marriage, right? So what help can Cornerstone Law Offices provide?
Sure. So like I said, I can give you initial pathway. I can talk about what the laws are here. Information is power.
Yes.
Knowledge is power. Yeah. So explaining how the law works here. Forget about the language at the moment. The language of the law is another challenge for people.
Yeah.
So I can explain what to expect.
Yep.
And a lot of people, like I said, they are getting that advice, whether they're ethnic community or not. People want to have their ducks in a row and understand where this could land. Okay? Am I going to be homeless? Will the house need to be sold? I want to keep the house until the children finish school. These are the kinds of things I hear. Okay? And again, the court has to do its own thing. Then I've got to encourage people to mediate, try and resolve things. Some people will be in the situation where, yeah, sure, we'll have a cup of coffee and we'll try and negotiate some of the issues so that we don't waste money on lawyers, right? Yes. Which is great. Yeah. I'm always for that. Even if you have reached an agreement, right? You still get legal advice to then draft the right documents.
Yes.
So that you can move on and you don't have to watch over your shoulder for that person, your ex-spouse, to be coming for a second bite of the cherry. Yes. Okay? Explaining, for instance, and this is a real life case I've had. Indian lady got married, came here, married to an Indian who's been a citizen of Australia for years. So he had wealth, he had multiple houses, all of that kind of stuff. And as you'll appreciate, and the listeners, the viewers will appreciate, all the jewelry that gets given, the gold. Yeah. So her case was all about, and it was only a 2-year relationship. So very significant domestic abuse. She was lucky to get out of it, sort of thing. Okay? Obviously, somebody had called the police at some stage, so she was able to exit safely. Because again, DV Connect will put you in a safe home. You don't have to, it's not necessary that you'll end up in a women's refuge, for example. Yeah. They can shift you to safe homes. Yeah. Okay? They will provide that support. So in any event, her whole case was about, give me my jewelry back. and I don't want anything of your house or anything like that, right? Short relationship. His case was, what jewelry?
Okay.
Right? So how do you prove?
Yes.
He's saying she took the jewelry when she left. Her case was, how could I have taken the jewelry when the police escorted me and took me away?
That's true.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, the reality is this. How much money is she going to spend fighting this through the very, very long, lengthy court process and an expensive court process?
Yeah.
And add to that the mental health,
Oh my gosh.
this mental strain. So she's already very, very disturbed in terms of mental health because of the abuse, and she's alone in this country. How do we, manage that?
Yeah.
Counseling is important. Reality testing with her, which took a lot of time and energy, because she couldn't understand, this is the law here, this is the process here. Sure, you can spend all this money and run it through to a judge. The judge is not going to find the jewelry for you because the judge is working on the evidence.
That's right.
How do we even value the jewelry? We don't know. Where is the jewelry? And the reality lies somewhere in between what she's saying and what he's saying.
That's right.
The truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either he's got some, she's got some. I had another case where that was a case about, the allegation was that there's $100,000 cash buried in the backyard.
Wow. Did they find it?
No, because again, it's allegations, right?
Yeah.
Who took it? Who was still in the house? All that. How do you prove any of that? So most of these cases will settle out of court,
Yeah.
even after people start proceedings in court. Okay?
Right.
Because nobody wants to waste money on lawyers. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's important to pick your battles. So we did, going back to the jewelry case, we did manage to settle the case, perhaps not what she was hoping for, but again, at the end of the day, if she ran the case to the end, she would be way out of pocket than what this jewelry was worth.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And her mental health would have been shot.
Yeah.
And she's an educated woman. And from my perspective, not just my lawyer had, and this is probably the difference I bring to the table to my clients, is at that human level. I had to give her that confidence to say, you are in the land of opportunities.
Yeah.
You just have to put that aside as a horror story, a chapter in your life.
Yeah.
Draw a line in the sand and now focus on the future, because that's the best payback you can give him.
That's true. Wow. I love it. I love it.
So empowering
Wow.
people is my...
I love that. Yes. You have empowered so many people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Reena.
Yeah. So when a person contacts Cornerstone Law Offices, what are the services that you provide?
Right. So our primary area of law is family law. We've got migration law. We've got wills and estates. We've got conveyancing, so people buying, selling homes. We've got crime and traffic. So those are our core areas. We'll do some commercial work as well in terms of reviewing leases, etc.
Alrighty. Yep.
So we do have different departments, obviously, okay? And as I said before, we encourage team members to work in whatever is their comfort zone and then move and grow within it. So for example, for migration law, the great Reena Augustine looks after our wonderful clients. So then we will get the information and we'll pass it on to you. You make contact with the client in that department. Conveyancing, we have a team, same thing. The call goes, the client is referred to that team, and we have a senior conveyancer and her support staff that take care of that for the client. We then have an estate planning division. So we've got a paralegal. She's actually a law graduate from India, but she's choosing not to pursue transferring the license.
Yeah.
So she's working as a paralegal capacity, and I just, I pay her and work her just like a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Because title doesn't mean anything. So she handles our estate planning. So if it's anything complex, then we meet with the client together. If not, then she can handle that. Then we have an estate administration when people have passed away. Mm-hmm. So those appointments will be made with me, and then I've got support staff who then journey with the client, because I can't be doing everything. I do the thinking and the strategizing.
Yes.
With family law matters, all your appointments will be with me. Okay, so the initial consultation is with me. and it's free of charge. All of these consultations are free, except for the migration one, yes, for good reasons. And so basically, I don't do an assessment of your case. I'll talk about the process and the law.
Got it.
Okay, and it's important then for the lead and for myself to connect.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. It's important for the lead and you to connect because it's a journey. The legal process is a journey. It's not a 5-minute thing here. Even when people are buying a home, that's still a 30 to 45-day process.
That's right.
Right? So you need to connect. And that's the important part. And then the rest will take care of itself.
I love that. I love that. So Cornerstone Law Offices, you've got different services that they provide. Family law, migration law, conveyancing,
yes,
crime,
yes,
and
estate planning, yes, and wills and estate administration when people have passed away.
Fantastic. Yes. Pleasure having you, Pravinita, and thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you for watching too. Yes.